Hi guys, welcome back to the vlog and another episode of the Toyota GT86 build. And today we've got some exciting news. Been waiting on this particular box for some time, but it's been a bit of a journey, and I'm glad to announce that Aftermarket Industries has jumped on board as an official sponsor for the Toyota 86 build. We're going to unpack the box, show you what's involved, and show you the tank that we've designed, or myself and Julian designed over the last couple of months, with the abundance of knowledge that Julian has in the automotive industry, especially around motorsports and fuel systems. Come up with a design, but his main system is the hanger and the surge tank within the hanger. We'll go over that. We are waiting for the updated hanger to come, but we've got most of the parts here to at least get started mocking up the tank, making brackets for it. Probably seen some of his stuff. They're a company in Sydney that have done plenty of World Time Attack cars. And the Motive DVD S14 has their fuel tank set up in it, and the amount of G's they pull around corners is quite a bit, and you never see them surge at all. So especially with drifting, that's the last thing you want. So that's why I went that way. I did initially order another tank, but after talking to Julian, it's so easy to just make a decision with the support he has and the knowledge. It just made me go that way. So let's unpack this box. Aftermarket Industries, jump on their Instagram page, the website, read up about them, check them out. There's a lot of info around fuel systems and what to do and what not to do. And there's plenty of tested examples in the market with their products. So I am waiting on another package to come from Aftermarket Industries, but most of the parts are here, and you even get terminals provided for the plug. So look at that. Let me show you a close up of that. So that's all one billet aluminium piece right there. And typically other manufacturers, their top plate is quite thin, but if you check out the thickness of that, that's probably got to be 6 to 8 mil. But really nice machine work, that. So everything's labelled here. So obviously that's where the plug goes. That's your fill cap, that's your level sensor. Then you've got two returns, fuel pump out, but everything on here is dash 8 fitting. So all the lines that I'm running in the previous car are dash 8 anyway, so this will work perfect as it is. But I just love the simplicity of it. There's not much going on here, so anything after this will just be a filter. They'll be under the car, run straight to the fuel lines, and the return running back. So we might even assemble the top part of it with the filler cap and the switch. Maybe not, just to protect that in case, but I definitely want to mount this. So it's all machined perfectly. So this fill cap, you won't even need, actually you will need an O-ring just on the inside there, but that just sits in like that, and that's perfect. So really nice quality, that. just unreal. Like the machine work is so clean. Really nice, really nice. So in the meantime, I have worked on the car a little bit and done some bits and pieces. Took me a little bit of time. I wasn't looking forward to doing the job, but it was just one of those jobs I kept putting off and off because, yeah, I just didn't want to do it. But I'll show you back in a bit. But other than that, today's plan will, yeah, get the tank in, mount the radiator, and then I'll start prepping the engine bay, so just getting rid of any studs along the firewall that I don't need, and also filling some holes in the transmission tunnel. So where the transmission factory mount was, it's a bit of a pain getting off, so even though I had a drill bit to drill out the spot welds, it still was a pain. So whilst getting it off, I had a chisel, but it did puncture the tunnel, so I've got to cut those. I'll cut out a square, fill it, patch it, and move on. So then it's ready to mock up the engine and gearbox, which is not far off. Really nice. So these are laser cut plates that's hand folded and hand TIG welded. And what's really nice about this tank is that they use not only an O-ring but a gasket to seal off the top plate. And this actual top plate is billet aluminium, so you're never going to really have an issue with it flexing, and it's going to be nice and strong. So this tank's a 35 litre tank. Which has already the brackets mounted to the side. So again, all laser cut and hand welded, and the job on it is amazing. Really nice TIG welds. So I'll show you guys the inside bit. It is full of baffling and part of the work that Julian's come up with. And I'll show you these fittings down the bottom, which are the Venturi fittings that I was talking about, that will constantly supply fuel to the hanger. So really nice bit of workmanship there. And that's the inside of the tank there. So it allows for the hanger in this room here. As you can see, it's baffled, so you won't get much fuel slosh in there, but you'll still have plenty of fuel travel and never have any issues with fuel surge. So really nice tank. What I'll do, I'll sit it in place to give you an idea where I'm going to mount it. Here's the tank and where it's going to be sitting. Sits really nice actually. Wrapped how it's come out. So I'll have to make brackets to mount the fuel tank. And what I like about this, it's a flush finish up top, so it almost looks like the tank's floating from the top. So it's not centered or anything, but I'll show you under here. The idea is I'll put a nut insert within this bar here to hold this side of it down, and then I'll run a plate off the end here to, let me get on this side. I've got a hoist, why don't I just lift the car to show you guys. Alright, so that's a better view. So that's the bracket there. As I said, I will put a nut insert into this tube, then have a bracket come off here to mount to that, and then same thing from this side. I'll have another bracket come off here to hold this. Now it is sitting on the tube underneath here, but I don't plan on leaving it there. I'm going to I'll stick some foam, double-sided foam to it now, just so I can get an idea, because you definitely don't want metal rubbing on metal, because it will just wear out way too quick, and that's not what I want. So pretty happy with it. The diff, there's plenty of room for the diff, because it'll probably come out to about here, the winters, so there's still enough room to pull off the back of the casing and change your diff gears, so the diff ratio. But other than that, I've still just got to wait these support brackets in. But yeah, tank looks really nice in there. Looks at home. So we'll get cracking on making some brackets for it and mounting it up. I'll get the foam as I said, and I'll mark out where it needs to go. I'll center it, and then we'll start welding some brackets to it. Alright, so I've got the tank sitting in place, but I've actually mounted the top plate here, the hanger. Now, reason being, it is quite dusty where I'm working, so I've even taped up all the fittings, just so I don't get any dust or dirt in the tank whilst making all the bracketry for it. So I did grab a bit of foam, which is just sticky tape there, so I'm going to centralize the foam to the tank. So I'm going to stick it to the tank so then it can sit there, and then I'll level it out and start making some bracketry for it. So let's get that underway. Alright, now a couple of reasons for mounting it where it is. One, lower centre of gravity. Two, it's out of the compartment away from the driver. And three, I haven't weighed the car just yet, but for front or corner to corner balance, between having the 2J and the G-force gearbox up the front, I think the balance off the bat might be pretty close. But also HGK's cars are all set up like this, and some other 86s that I've seen have the tank at the back. So I think weight wise it'll be good, and it'll be a good spread. So yeah, I'll mount this tape, and then we'll start making some brackets for it. So the tank's 300 deep by 500 high by 500 long, 300 deep, and 250 high. So and what I'll do, I'll just flip it over, put some weight on it. So I'll give you guys a closer look. So I'll have it set off the bar a little bit. Again, just so it's not rubbing up against. In there you can see I've put a bit of foam, and I've just used the foam there to hold up the tank to make it level. So she's pretty bang on there, and the car is level on the hoist. I did check that earlier. I'll go ahead, make some spaces for the width of those the brackets there. so I can get them in place. And then what I'll do is make some bracketry for the front. So what I'm thinking at the moment is potentially make like a half moon to wrap around this, then have a flat plate, and then weld a nut to the bottom of that one and that one up here. And then, yeah, as I mentioned, I'll run a bar off here, comes out to here, and I'll brace it, and then weld a nut to the bottom of either of those, of the steel plate, and put some bolts through it. So that's the idea. Let's give it a crack. So I've got some balsa wood here. I'm going to make up some brackets for the back of the fuel tank first, and it'll make more sense once I've actually completed it. So on a side profile, the idea that I'm thinking of so, I don't know if you can see that, but that's how I'm thinking the bracket will be. So the rounded part there will sit over the tube and run to the front of the car, and underneath that there will be, I'll have to weld all this up, make it out of 3 or 4 pieces, probably 3 actually. So top, sides, and then underneath the top plate I'll weld some nuts, so I only have to do the top bolt in when I'm putting it in or out. So I'll draw that up now. On the back side I'll weld in some nuts. I'll probably do that first before I weld the sides on, but I'll make it a flush finish. I'll grab the camera and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So I will have to trim it to get it to the right height, but hang on, let me, it's better, get this hand. So yeah, I'll trim where it needs to sit so it lowers it down, but that's a pretty good base to start with. And I'll cover the area of the tank that needs to be supported where that pad is, so pretty happy with that. So I'll cut that all up, measure it in some steel, cut all that out. I'll cut 2 of for both sides, and then we'll work on the outer mounts. Alright, so I'm going to cut these up, tack them together. We'll mark this out where I have to drill this for the bolt holes, and then we'll weld them up, and then we'll weld them to the case, so at least the back's got it's mounted, and I'll bolt that in. So alright, so I've got the welder set up. I've got both plates set up on these magnetic triangles so you can get a perfect right angle. So I've matched them up. I'm just going to tack them in place, and then do the other side. So they come in quite good use though. So just some light tacks to begin with, because you don't want to warp the material. I'm just going to clean these up. I'll test fit them, mark them, drill the holes, and then weld them to the bottom tube. Alright, so they're in there. I'll give you guys a look. Pretty happy with how they came out actually. So, trying to get the best angle. There we are, so that's how I sit there. I'll just trim this top edge a bit, just so it drops down so there's no gap. And then I might even cut this on an angle, just to get rid of that bit of material and let it finish at the edge here. Just to neaten it up a bit, just so it's not so bulky. Then I could just leave it there for strength. And again on this side, similar thing. I just need to trim the inside bracket so I can sit down a little bit. But it is, as you can see, it's pretty level where it is. So I'll clean it up, and then I'll weld them in. I'll put some bolts behind the bottom of those, so I might even mark them where they are now. Drill the holes, put some bolts, weld them up, and then finish those back ones off, and then move on to the front ones. Alright guys, so the tank's in. I've made the brackets, I've welded a nut to the bottom of the bracket. I've also bolted the bracket to the tank. I've leveled it out, I've centered it, tank. So now I'm just going to tap the brackets into place, and then I'll remove the tank and then go in and completely weld them in. So alright, so tank's back in. I've mounted it with just one bolt for now, but the brackets come up really good, happy with them. So now I'm moving on to the back brackets. So what I'm thinking is have a plate under here, then fold it up and follow the inside of this bar. So essentially just like a tab. So run the tab down and then under. So just having a look how I'm going to do it. Just checking it out, see how it looks. Pretty happy with it, I think. So I might just leave it there. Only thing I might do is just put a dimple die through there, just to give it a bit of strength. But I reckon I'm happy with that, because the idea was from the back I didn't want to have straps running down, because you will see the tank from behind. So at least this, you're only seeing pretty much that bracket on the angle there, and obviously the flat part. But yeah, I'm happy with that. I'll cut 4 pieces, so I'm just going to make the 2 pieces like that. I'll weld it down the guts, and even I'll probably put some bracing around the back here. And then I'll just yeah, double the amount of pieces I cut and just match it up to the other side. So we're making it happen. It's almost there. So I'll draw that out on the steel, cut it out, and we'll start welding again. I'll just show you anyway, get a bit of a close-up of it. That's what I'm thinking of doing. So that's the bottom plate there, and then just grab that one. Sorry, the lighting's not the best. Just weld that there like that. So I don't know if I'm getting the best angles here. Yeah, just like that. So it'll look like that from behind, and then on the inside I'll put some bracing along this part here just to help support it. Get the welder back out, and we'll get back into it. Alright, so the brackets are in now. I haven't welded them to this cage structure just yet because I want to put a dimple die just to further strengthen it. I did actually weld in another piece at the back to strengthen it as well and triangulate the bracket already. So pretty happy with how they've come out. They both look pretty symmetric, so I'll show you them now. So that's what they'll look like on the side, and then as you can see, that's the triangulated bit I was talking about up there for extra support. So I've done that to both sides. Just like that, and then yeah, same thing again, I'll dimple die that. So I won't weld them in yet, but that pretty much wraps up the fuel tank installation. I probably won't do any fuel lines or anything just yet. I'm probably going to wait until the car's painted and run all the lines, but I'll leave it in there for now. But for the next episode, you can expect the radiator getting mounted in here now that I know where the tank's going to sit, and then if we can fit it all in, we'll work on the tunnel, and then we can probably start, as I said earlier, pulling the engine and gearbox out of the 180SX and mocking it up in the 86. So I'm just going to clean the welds up on this, grind them flush so it all looks like one piece. But other than that, thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, comment below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like what you're seeing. And we're almost there. I feel like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. Yeah, absolutely wrapped with how it's coming along. So see you next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.